Olympic City and the home of Pikes Peak. This is the Automotive ADHD Show with Matt West.
It helps when I turn on the microphone. And
no
we
microphones.
Are rocking it here on the Automotive ADHD Show, live from the Pikes Peak Hill Climb Fan Fest, brought to you by Gran Turismo. We are live right now on Facebook and YouTube. We're doing a live recording of the show right now, and this is such an exciting event going on right now, and it's really busy. There's tons of people out here really excited for hill climb season. Of course, Matt West here. Sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. Matt West here, talking cars with you. And I need to introduce my guest joining me right here. You've heard him on the show before. I think he's tussling up with Amir Bensatu for most number of reoccurring appearances on the show.
I do come around a little bit. I think the most important thing to remember about this entire thing is that we are both wearing sunglasses right now. That won't come over on the mics, and you won't really be able to pick it up. But the sunglasses really make this right now because we don't technically need them. It's kind of cloudy, but it does fit the vibe very well. I think that's important. But yes, I am Wesley Kagan. I do stuff. That's the best way I can describe it at this moment. But yeah, I have a YouTube channel, and I do car stuff, and I'm here to talk cars. So,
well, there's a lot of car stuff to talk about. There's so much car stuff to talk about. Of course, we are broadcasting here from the Hemmings.com footprint, which this is really incredible. I'm so thankful for Hemmings for partnering up with us to do this show. They have a really tremendous Mustang. It's a Mach 1 back there. It is gorgeous. Gorgeous. And
it's a manual transmission, and I would like to take it home, but they won't let me because I have $103 total.
Yeah,
that's it, and that won't buy this car, unfortunately. I wish it did.
Unfortunately, it doesn't. Yeah. And if it did, I would have bid 104. I'd outbid you on it.
You see, I think that's the problem. I think we just kind of explained how the car market works. Which I can't. I don't think you talk about the car market at all in your show. Is this a car show?
Did you hear that? That right there. That was your answer. That was your answer.
There we go.
Yep. Man. Yeah. No. It's really good, and
this is a great turnout down here. Like we got a lot. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot of people, and honestly, there's a lot of diversity of cars that I'm seeing walking around. Obviously, you got the Pikes Peak cars that are just everywhere. And I saw a Ford tent, which I have yet to go. Optimus here, you might be able to win a battery, I think. I'm not actually completely sure. I don't know. I probably should have researched a little bit before I went live on the air and told everybody that you could win a battery. Maybe you can.
Well, that being said,
okay,
I am told that you can win a Hemmings prize pack.
Okay.
That is cool. So,
I didn't research that either.
Yeah, and that is cool. And we're going to have Brandon from Hemmings on to talk about that here a little bit. Hold on, I just got to let that. Woo. I love that.
That's pretty great. That sounds like burlap bag full of Bobcats right there.
It's exactly what that is right there. So, of course, we are live from the Hemmings.com footprint.
Which he's repeating that so that we understand that there's a lot of background noise that's going on here. That's the important thing.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, man. See, I normally play car sounds on the show.
You don't need to.
I don't need to.
It's great.
I don't need to. But no, this is really fun. And now, Wesley, you were walking around a little bit more. I've been kind of tied to the tent here.
You
with
have
the setup,
not left
shaking
the tent.
hands.
We chained him to the desk. He has not left. When I say we, he has a crew of 30 that travels with him at all times. I want to be clear. I want to be clear for the viewers at home and the listeners at home that he travels like on one of those vintage carriages. They lift him up and carry him around. This is the kind of royalty that we're talking about here.
Precisely. So, and Wesley, he's staying at the 5-star Antlers Hotel penthouse suite. I mean, we really put him up here. That's why he's here.
He flew me in on a private jet and paid me very handsomely to be here. Yeah, and I did no research, and that's why I feel bad about it. And yeah, no, I think it's Yeah, and I wanted to compliment you that you run a very good show. You run a very tight show, and
be careful what you're saying.
No, this is fantastic.
This head, people say I've got a big head, like physically. It might get bigger. Could be dangerous.
You are wonderfully prepared at all times to do this show, and I am the most chaotic person you could have brought on because I can do a solid 45 minutes on anything. None of it's interesting. But I'm the kind of guy whose house would be on fire, and somebody would be like, "Hey, your house is on fire," and be like, "Let me finish this rant about the O.J. Simpson trial," and like, no. So I'm the worst person to have on this guest, but I appreciate it nonetheless.
Well, and I think you're going to have to tussle up with Jim Miller for being the most chaotic. Jim Miller's pretty chaotic, too.
I actually don't think I can beat that.
You don't think you can beat Jim Miller?
I don't think I can beat that. I'm being 100% honest with you.
Jim Miller is going to join us here later on the show, though I hear he's gone out to find Hot Wheels cars.
That is correct. He is currently not with us. And not saying he's like not with us. Like we're not we're not Weekend at Bernieing a guest on this podcast, but you know what I mean.
Right.
He hasn't.
He's looking for Hot Wheels and snacks.
Yeah,
that's what he's doing.
Shuffled off his mortal coil or something like that.
Right. Okay. So we think. We hope at least.
Yeah,
we hope at least. So now, Wesley, while you've been walking around, what have you been able to?
See, he's good. He's getting me back on topic.
What have there was a topic? What have you been seeing? Because you've walked around here. I haven't. I've got a great view of everything around our tent. But you've been kind of perusing around. You did find drinks and snacks.
I did find drinks and snacks. You know, there is an entire street wrapped with a QR code 2 streets up, which is definitely an interesting thing. And there
how do you scan that? Do you have to do it from the building up top?
Only the Lord knows. I genuinely don't know. Yeah, no, it's really, really. But anyways, no, they and there's a bunch of very nice cars parked on that. I'm assuming they're a part of a car club or something. I don't know. I didn't look that closely at it. But there is a QR code on the ground. There's Chrysler vehicles here. There's Ford vehicles here. The brands, not just generally. And there's a very good diversity of tents and stuff going on here that is, if you're not here, you're missing out. That's all I'm going to say.
You're absolutely missing out.
Absolutely.
And if you're tuning into this on the live stream right now, you're missing out on some of those
starting behind me.
Oh, that's actually the Mustang. Here we go. We can maybe just that's kind of relaxing. There it is. There it is. Yeah.
No.
Ooh. I like it. Let's go. That's the best way to have my podcast and radio show interrupted.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally.
I would love it if he does that all the time. And I'm filming that right here on my phone, too. Here we go. Live on the air. I'm okay with being interrupted that way.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah, that is a 428 car. My understanding is that it is completely original outside of the stuff that's not.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's pretty. It's a beauty, for sure.
Oh, man. Mm-hmm. I think that's tremendous. And you smell that. Smell it. Breathe in a little bit.
Absolutely.
Smell that carbon dioxide.
Those are some nice hydrocarbons that are going on there. Yeah,
absolutely. I love it. I'm savoring that.
Yeah. So there's a lot of good things. There's a couple of nice tents you can cruise around and take a look at down here. And obviously all the Pikes Peak Hill Climb cars are just incredible. I mean, it's really, really hard to not be really, really impressed with that.
Jim Miller has just handed me breaking news.
We interrupt this broadcast to bring you breaking.
Oh boy, Jim Miller, just a guy, has joined us. We don't have a third microphone set up because I'm out of space here, but we're going to get him on in the next segment. But you should join us here if you're on the live stream. Pikes Peak International Hill Climb Fan Fest brought to you by Gran Turismo. We are at the Hemmings.com footprint. I'm saying that so often so I don't forget where we are. I might forget where we are.
All right, I understand.
But we are going to we're going to jump to a quick break here, but you don't want to miss a minute of this show. This is awesome. And of course, you might be hearing this on the radio as well. Several great radio stations to catch it. AM 1460 and FM 101.1 The Answer, 91.7 KLZR, and AM 1400 KRLN. We'll be back after the break.
And now for how things work with an engineer.
Transmissions. Shift.
And that was how things work with an engineer. More of how things work can be found at facebook.com/automotive ADHD.
Right, you are joining us right here live from the Pikes Peak Hill Climb Fan Fest, brought to you by Gran Turismo. We are broadcasting from the Hemmings.com footprint. Of course, really thankful and excited to partner up with Hemmings for the show here, and they've brought some tremendous stuff. They've been great hosts, and they've got the this Mach 1 Mustang sitting over here. It is bringing, Jim, would you say this is bringing enough crowd to make it look like my show is popular?
It is definitely doing that, bringing forth the visual.
The visuals,
the illusion of popularity.
I'll take it. If it's a Mustang and that helps.
I've had 3 people go, "Wow, sir," and I'm like, I'm nobody. I'm just a guy over here.
Yeah. Here, let's bring that in a little closer for you. There you go.
Yeah.
Get real comfortable with the microphone there. So
Very
close that you
sensual.
have to be uncomfortable with the microphone.
There we go.
Wow.
Better?
That's perfect. Now, my guest joining me is Jim Miller, just a guy. Jim, I'm told you've ran for mayor, and now you do some stuff on the radio. Is that correct?
I do, and I kind of blame you for that sometimes.
That's guilty as charged. Guilty as charged. I, too, do stuff on the radio.
Yes.
For better or for worse, I don't know how I've convinced the fine folks at AM 1460 and FM 101.1 The Answer, or the folks at AM 1400 KRLN or 91.7 KLZR. I don't know what I've done to convince them that they should run my show, but whatever it is, it's working, and I've got Jim Miller, just a guy here. Of course, you can hear him on Drive Time Radio here in Colorado Springs every, let's see, it's Monday through Thursday, and it's on the Peak News, and he does the Just a Guy rants. And Jim rants about all sorts of fun stuff. But we are here to talk about cars, of course, because we're at the Pikes Peak Hill Climb Fan Fest. Now, Jim, you were on a hunt earlier for snacks, trinkets, fun things. What did you find?
All right, I found lots of neato stuff. I found they have sunglasses. Look at this, you got some sunglasses. Those are for you.
I'll trade them out.
You didn't get to do stuff, so I went and grabbed a few things for you.
I've been chained to this table. Literally, I can't leave the table. So I'm relying on Jim and Wesley to help out there.
Me and Wes have actually journeyed through part of this together as just friends.
Just friends, okay.
I'm roaming around through it. I did pretty much most of the event in about 20 minutes.
Nice.
I found you a Hot Wheels.
All right.
Come down and get your Hot Wheels, the Car and Coffee booth down by Bijou and Tejon. They have the Car and Coffee guys giving out Hot Wheels to everybody.
I will
That
take
is
it.
for you.
That is beautiful.
I'm sorry, I couldn't find.
Hold on, Ford Escort RS 2000.
I couldn't find us any Krusty the Clown, Rusty A86s or anything, but I did find something from that era in time.
I will take it. That is good.
It's still Hot Wheels. Very good.
Still Hot Wheels. You brought me the FCP Euro sunglasses. I'm not sponsored by them, but we are sponsored by Hemmings for this event, by the way. Of course, Hemmings.com for everything Hemmings, which they have some great stuff. And coming up in a little bit, I'm going to have Brandon from Hemmings. He's going to be joining us. And Jim is wearing a Hemmings t-shirt, and they do some really great stuff. So I can't wait to share more with you about that coming up here in the next segment. Now, Jim, what else, walking around, this is, you would say you haven't been to this event in a few years, right? When was the last time you were here at the Hill Climb Fan Fest?
Geez, 10 years ago, a long time ago.
Okay.
I remember it being bigger, honestly. I'll be straight. I remember it being bigger, but it probably wasn't. There was less people here then. Mm-hmm. I remember seeing a lot more cars. There's still a lot of cars, but it was a lot more just straight up hill climb cars, if you will.
We have a lot of interesting cars here that aren't just hill climb cars, which is cool. I mean, obviously this Mach 1 that's sitting behind us here, that's one of them.
Yep.
But we've also got, like, for example, just back behind us, can they see it on the live stream?
No,
they can't. No, they can't. Well, it's Ethan Hunter's Camaro back there. He is racing the hill climb. I also hear Jimmy Ford is somewhere around here, and of course we got some great coverage from Jimmy Ford. We're going to hear from him later on in the show. But Jim, what is your take, coming back now to the Fan Fest, coming back to the hill climb? You've lived here in Colorado Springs for a long time. What do you think of hill climb culture out here? Like you kind of see it from afar, but it's something we don't have in many other places.
I think it's pretty good. It's pretty family oriented. It's pretty open to everybody. Bring the kids, come have some fun, hang out. Get yourself a snack, something to drink. The Fan Fest part of it, it's a lot of fun. You can just come poke around. You can mosey around. You can go at your own pace. They still got all the dirt bike jumping stuff.
Yes, yeah, they've got dirt bikes doing tricks in the road. And
yeah. And it's very family orientated. If you do like to be an adult and have a drink, they got a spot for that. It's pretty well rounded for no matter what your shot of whiskey may or may not be, to come to the event and have some fun and just relax and enjoy it. Meet some of your neighbors that are also into cars and stuff. Let's not sugarcoat us car people. We're few and far between, right? We're the I'm into cars. The work away from work, the stress away from stress.
The work that never stops.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the great thing about events like this is that we get interesting cars in front of the city, in front of the people who live here, in front of people who don't live here. People come from around the world to do this event. And so, we get people out here. They get to see car culture. They get to see some of the finest of car culture, I would think. This family-oriented sort of vibe to it. And it's important because it makes it so that cars are not something that, those darn car guys down the street, they're wrenching on their cars, they're loud. No, this is a thing. Cars can be a community event like this. Would you agree with that?
100%. It's a very educational, it can be a very family-oriented thing, very neighborly type thing to be into. You can, if you're into cars, there's a lot of cross paths from every walk of life, every financial statute, in life, in every part of the community. Race, creeds, religions, financial stat. None of that stuff matters. If you're a car person, you're into cars, you like it, you appreciate the builds, the blood, the sweat, the tears, the stress, and the extra work, and all the parts waiting, because there's lots of parts to always be ordered.
Oh yeah, and you know how that is. You like to order the hard to get stuff from Japan.
Yes.
I think that shows that you're a very patient person, or at least like the suffering from it.
I would say committed. It was probably the nice way to say
committed? Okay, we'll use committed.
I do have a wife. I'm a very committed human being, so it works that way.
Oh man, no, that is good. Now, give me a little bit of an update here on some of the projects you've got going on at home. Again, people are used to hearing you on the radio. A lot of them don't know you're probably the biggest car guy here in town. I'm hyping you up a little bit, but car hermit?
Yeah, I kind of keep it to myself, but as far as it comes to like Toyotas or Japanese import cars, you probably are right. I probably do have the most for just one person.
Yeah, I mean, if you're wondering, if you're into the A86 realm and the old Toyota stuff, and you're wondering, gosh, why can't I find cars? Why can't I find parts? It's Jim's fault because he's buying them all.
I do. I have one actually on my trailer right now, and we're putting it together in the trailer, and the reason why is because I can move it to the shade and work on it.
Are you doing that thing where you store cars on your trailer until you need your trailer, and then you have to take the cars off the trailer to use it again?
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what's happening.
Okay, I'm only speaking from personal experience.
The perks of it is that you can be like, you know what? It's this time of the day. I have an hour. I can move over here because the shade's over here and work on it in a whole nother spot. Plus, because the shop is just packed full of too much stuff, I have a problem. I need one of those. What do they call them? Not intermission. What do they call this stuff when the people come and they're like, "Hey, we're here to talk to you about your addiction to vehicles or whatever."
Is there like a Car Guys Anonymous?
There you go. Yeah,
I think that's what you need. If it exists, let us know.
My name's Jim Miller. I own more cars than probably 10 families put together, and 12 other car guys added to that. I have a problem.
He's again the reason why. He's the reason why you can't get parts. Because he's hoarding them all.
Yes, but I am working on 11, and it is on the trailer, and just moving it to the shade and working on it right on the tilt back Texas trailer. It's fine.
I love it. Now, are you finding that with all these cars, that it's harder to manage with all the cars, or do you find that with like having all these cars gives you like room for like spare parts and things like that?
I didn't have to order a single part for the A86 Levin because I have quadruplicates at least of pretty much everything. That makes it kind of nice. Some of the other stuff, it's like, where do you find this part at? You're like, I don't even know. They don't have nothing listed nowhere. Some of the myths and stories of, well, if it's in this many years, you can get them right, direct from Toyota. No, you have to just order it from Japan and just get it. It gets annoying sometimes. You are right.
Oh, yeah.
The registrations are a killer. The insurances are a killer.
Yeah, I have this. I want to go on a tangent while you just piqued my interest on the insurance and the registration thing. I know local governments don't want to do it this way, probably because it makes them less money.
Right.
But and I know Brian here, Obi-Wan Kenobi, he walked up, and I know he would probably agree with me on this. But why can't we have like a single registration that follows the driver?
That would be
right?
fantastic.
Because I can't drive two cars at once.
Nope, just one at a time.
And you might say, well, what if one of my family members wants to drive it? Okay, well, you get a registration with your license, and then they're covered again.
They have theirs too.
And same thing with insurance.
Yeah.
Like, I can only drive one car at a time. And trust me, if I could figure out how to drive two at a time, I would. Would you, Brian? He says he would. He says
I
he
think
would.
Michael Keaton had a movie about that as Multiplicity. He kept cloning himself
Oh, yeah?
until he got a bad copy. That's the whole plot of the movie. Spoilers. Sorry, guys.
Uh-oh. The movie's spoiled.
Perfectly spoiled.
But yeah, that's the tangent, I think, with that. And now, with all those cars, I'm sure, we all love cars. That's why we're out here. That's why we're here at the Pikes Peak Hill Climb Fan Fest. And, of course, just loving car culture. I think that's getting down to it. Because you're just a guy and you like cars.
Yeah,
I'm just a guy and I like cars. Brian's a guy, he likes cars. There's some gals over here, they like cars. They're looking at this Mustang.
There's people everywhere around here that like cars. If we could spin around, we'd be able to show you. There's just everybody likes cars. Like, I don't even know this guy. This guy likes cars.
He's looking at there he
This
goes.
other guy likes cars.
Yep.
Those ladies like cars. These kids over here like cars.
And so what I'm getting at with this is if you're here in Colorado Springs, come join us out here right now if you're watching this on the live stream. I've been calling this the live stream of the live stream of the radio show, but it's a recording of the radio show. The live stream of the recording of the radio show. Of course, you can hear this as well on the radio Saturday morning. Now, the reason we're doing it this way is because, well, FanFest is here downtown, and my show's on Saturday. So what can I do? So
it just is what it is.
It is what it is. Joining me here again is Jim Miller, just a guy. And, of course, you can tune into him every single weekday around 3 p.m. on the Peak News. Listen to his rants. Now, we're going to take a break here. We've had some comments in the chat as well here on the live stream. I don't mean to ignore you. We're going to answer those comments here in the break. So don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Automotive ADHD Show. We are live from the Hill Climb Fan Fest and the Hemmings.com footprint. We'll see you here after the break. Don't go anywhere. And you are joining us live from the Pikes Peak Hill Climb Fan Fest, brought to you by Gran Turismo. Of course, we are broadcasting here from the Hemmings.com footprint. My next guest is the VP of Marketing for Hemmings, and he has done some tremendous work putting this whole thing together, bringing an incredible car out here. Brandon, VP of Marketing for Hemmings. Brandon, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Matt. And thank you to you. I mean, this was your whole idea, inviting us out. We had never been to Pikes Peak, so of course heard about it for many, many, many years. And we're here. I told you we'd come, and we came.
You came here, and you really got a great setup. Now, before we get into a little bit of your background and a little bit of Hemmings as well, you got some great stuff I want to talk about. Tell me about that Mustang back there.
Yeah. So we brought a 1970 428 Mustang, 66 original miles, 66,000 original miles, 428 numbers matching, all original. But yeah, we brought it out. We were trying to figure out what would this audience want to see. Mm-hmm. I know there was going to be a ton of race cars going up the hill. Honestly, it was between this Mach 1 and vintage Bronco. and I decided to go with the Mustang.
The Mustang. I think the Mustang has brought out an incredible crowd.
Everybody loves it.
I was joking with Jim here. I was like, gosh, this car's making it look like people come and listen to my show.
Yeah.
But no, they're here for the car.
Yeah, no, it's great. And I'm really intrigued. So I like to send ourselves to these types of shows because we don't want only to engage with our current customer base, that legacy customer, seasoned collector, but we want to help grow and uplift that next generation of collector, car enthusiast. And I am so pleased to see the young folks out here, from 5 years old to 25 years old. They know what they're talking about, and they're starting the process to get into the hobby. And I always say the best way to get in is to buy something you can afford and make it better.
That's a great way. And I mean, when we're young and we're getting into cars, I mean, that's how I think the best way to do it. You get something, you make it a bit better, whether that be fix it up or, you're changing up a few things here and there. A lot of times your first car is going to be something you're fixing up. You're learning the basics. You're doing oil changes, tires, things like that. Now, have you seen especially this car, have you seen the younger crowd getting really excited with this car?
Absolutely. I mean, they're so the beautiful part about bringing a car to a show like this is we can bring a live listing. And that's where you can add a QR code that directs you to Hemmings.com to check out the asking price, the details, tons of photos beyond just looking around it here. And again, these young folks, 25, 30 years old, know what they're talking about. Their father or grandfathers used to have one, used to own one. Some folks already have them, and they're trying to figure out, okay, what do I do to it next? But they're super engaged. And I love to see that, right? Because, again, we're trying to foster that next generation of enthusiasts. Yes, we help buyers and sellers move cars, but we're also a resource for every enthusiast, whether you're a novice or a seasoned collector, with buyer's guides, covering media, what to do with this. And I love that, right? That's what Hemmings is about.
Yeah.
And we have been for 70 years.
I was going to say, people know Hemmings a lot from the magazine, but you're so much more than that now.
Yeah.
Really so much more. Walk me through some of the things. You mentioned them briefly there, but walk me through some of really the key highlights. Obviously, the auction, selling the cars, doing that stuff. Walk me through some of the details on that.
Yeah, so we are the frictionless marketplace.
Okay.
And what that means is, no matter, again, if you're a novice or seasoned collector, Hemmings.com can help you from start to finish. So you're interested in buying a vehicle, Hemmings.com, you use your search criteria, it pops up various selling platforms. We have a 1 week, 7-day auction for your more, wild crowd, people who love that kind of thing.
Right,
and then our make offer product, which connects buyers and sellers, and they can negotiate in real time. And instead of meeting up in an alley or a parking lot, in a sketchy situation, with a briefcase full of cash, you negotiate in real time, have that same experience from the safety of your own home or couch, wherever you are. And that's just the selling and buying. The real piece of the equation that makes ours frictionless is we help you with pre-purchase valuations, inspections, shipping your car. We help you finance. We have an insurance marketplace. We have pay and title. And I don't want to breeze over pay and title. We'll get to that in a second. But every piece of the puzzle to make this experience enjoyable, we have. We have great partners that help us do it.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing that's really incredible that you can do, which is, if you want to get into the collector car scene, the collector car market especially, a lot of folks are interested in these cars who don't have a ton of experience buying old, unusual, classic cars, and you're able to provide them, I don't want to use a cliche, a one-stop shop, but that's really what you're doing. You can start here, and you can go all the way through the collector car ownership process with Hemmings, and once you've got the car, you've got support, you've got information, you've got all of this backing. And is that really what you guys focus on?
Yeah.
There?
I mean, 70 years of experience and trust. You pick up the phone, you call with a question, you're speaking to a human being.
Yeah.
Which is not the case for a lot of companies in general. And we pride ourselves in that. We have if you're an auction, if you're listing a vehicle with our auction, you get a dedicated listing specialist who helps you with your reserve, who helps you with your listing. What can I do to make this better? Well, take these kind of photos.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to pause.
There is the Mach 1 going now. Oh, no, that's not the Mach 1. Where is that?
Where is that? Oh, it's right past the Mach 1, right behind him.
Oh.
There he is.
Yeah, there's a few cars out here.
I love that. And that's the beauty of doing it live out here.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of that. Let's, it's bringing the crowd over there. Now, you started the Mach 1 earlier.
Yeah.
Are we going to maybe do that again?
Yeah, absolutely.
We need to do that again.
Yeah, we need to find Eric so you can fire it up.
Especially because they started it, so now we got to start this one here.
That one's a beast over there. I don't know if we can hang with that guy, but that one's going up the hill for sure.
Yeah, he's going up the hill. That's got a nice sound to it. And we're going to kind of... That's the nice thing about doing it live here. Like I was joking earlier, I play car sounds. Listeners send their car sounds in on my show, and I play them. And, I don't have to do that out here. It's natural. It happens.
Yeah.
You don't know when it's going to happen, but you know it's going to happen.
Just keep listening. You'll hear a few more.
I love it. And I think we've got a good setup out here. Of course, we're broadcasting live from the Hemmings.com footprint. Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah. See, that's the thing I think that at least the radio listeners, they get the benefit. They can hear that full sound. The downside is they can't see that beautiful car over there, and they can't see this beautiful Mach 1 sitting behind you.
Yeah.
But that's where you got to tune in to the video on YouTube and Rumble. Now, Brandon, we were talking about how Hemmings gives you a one-stop shop with all of these great services, especially for the collector car owner, the current collector car owner, or the aspiring collector car owner. But what do you think, we were talking about getting the young kids into that. Obviously, I mean, look at all the people around this Mustang right now. You got your older guys who are, maybe remembering these when they were new, but all these dudes these younger guys love these older cars. What do you think the importance is, in getting back to the local car scene when it comes to, we were talking about getting younger folks into it, but getting back to the local car culture as a whole?
It's very important, and I share with you off mic is that's my goal. That's part of my strategy. Mm-hmm. And the reason is we need to, if we're saying from the rooftops, we are your one-stop shop, your resource to be in the hobby, and we're not there, we're not reading from the same sheet of music, right? And of course, I leverage those types of shows, and the reason why I'm here, one of the many reasons I'm here, is I like to talk to the enthusiast, the car enthusiast. What do you like? What don't you like? Mm-hmm. What don't you like about Hemmings.com? Because I can take that information, send it back to our team, and that's how we get better. This frictionless marketplace didn't just come up out of nowhere. It came from lots of and many conversations over the years. Where are the pain points at? And we addressed every one of those within 3 years, right? Jonathan Shaw, our president at Hemmings, really made that a priority.
Awesome.
Listen, address, and build based on feedback.
I love it. And we had Jonathan on a few months ago here on the show. So if you didn't catch that, I encourage you to listen to it. Now, we are live from the Pikes Peak Hill Climb Fan Fest at the Hemmings.com footprint. Don't go anywhere. Join us after the break. We're going to keep going right here on Automotive ADHD. Those were car sounds from a mutual friend of ours. That was Jimmy Ford. Ethan, I'm going to get your car sounds in on the next one. I got a great video of you launching up at Glen Cove. And we'll get those in maybe on the next show here. But that being said, my guest is Ethan Hunter, one of the newest to claim the title of a Pikes Peak Hill Climb driver. Ethan, welcome on to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Now, you've been on the show before. We've talked about how you're sort of a racing lunatic, as you've said.
That's right.
You do if it's got wheels and you can drive it fast, you pretty much do it.
Right. That's right.
Yep. You do drifting. You do now Pikes Peak Hill Climb driving. Tell me about, real quick, for folks who maybe haven't listened to the show with you on it, tell me a little bit about your background.
Yeah, real quick. We started out in quarter midgets at the age of 5. And then from there, we raced sprint cars, late models, drift cars, you name it. We tried it. But now we finally found something that was just as crazy as me, I think. And this road or track, mountain, whatever you want to call it, this thing it's gnarly. It's awesome. It's actually getting my blood flowing like it used to.
Oh, man.
That's right.
Wow. Now, this is what's crazy, right? So you weren't planning this year for sure to go to the hill climb, right?
We applied.
You applied, and they said, hang tight. We'll let you know, right?
Exactly.
And then they let you know how soon?
They let me know probably about 3.5 weeks ago.
3.5 weeks.
Yep.
And so that might sound like a lot of time, but when we're talking hill climb time, that's not a lot when it comes to prepping.
Yeah,
right?
that's like a weekend.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about how the prep has gone. How have you been able to, I'm sure it's been a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of hard work with everyone involved, but tell me what that's been like getting ready in 3 weeks for the hill climb.
Right. So originally we were going to do campaign the Evo, Mitsubishi Evo that I've been building. Mm-hmm. But when I got waitlisted, it kind of seemed like I wasn't going to get it. This year is going to be more of like a next year type of thing. So we just kind of put that car on the back burner. And we've always had this car, this road course Camaro stock car.
I say that's not an Evo.
That is not an Evo.
That is not
no.
an Evo.
So we had to ask them if we could switch chassis and switch classes because I was going to run Time Attack 1 in the Evo. This one's a Pikes Peak open car. And they approved that change, and we had 3 weeks, to get this car from just a regular road course car into a hill climb car. And with it being carbureted and running on pump gas or a race gas, not an ethanol or a methanol, we were thinking we were going to run into some issues with some heat and getting hot, and this car wasn't built for that.
Right.
But we've changed it. We've changed some aero package. We've changed tires. We changed suspension. And right now it's feeling really good. So we're really happy with the changes we've made. We think we can be a little bit faster, but it's more of me. I'm not going to go out there and just try to light the world on fire my first time. I want to go out there and be safe and come home at night and be able to do it again next year.
Right. And you want to get invited back again, obviously,
exactly.
Right? And putting down a good run, but being safe, and showing the officials, hey, I can be safe racing this mountain. That's very important.
Exactly.
Right? Because the hill climb, it's inherently dangerous. I mean, just look at it.
Yeah.
Right?
The most dangerous race in the world.
It's literally the most dangerous race in the world. And I also was hearing it's the second oldest race in the world.
That's right.
Just goes to show that dudes were up there racing long before we even had, roll cages and safety.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Before safety was invented.
Right. Safety third.
Safety third. What's safety?
That's right.
But, so you've been up there now. I saw you briefly on, what was it, Wednesday I was up there. We were up at Glen Cove. And I saw you up there briefly. Thanks for the coffee, by the way. That saved my life, I think. Actually.
You got to have a Keurig.
Yeah, I was dying, and he's like, "Hey, I got some coffee for you." I was like, "Okay."
That's right.
But that being said, you were up there. How was the road? How was your kind of, obviously you've been doing practice, so it's not the first time you're seeing the road, but what were your first impressions, especially coming to this for the first time?
People say that the road always changes, and I'm starting to see that. It's not like it's a drastic change that you would think, like, oh, these corners are completely different. It's more of like, there's new obstacles, whether that's, a little bit of water drip down and now it's frozen because it was 30 degrees and there's a wind chill, so now you got a little bit of ice patch on the road, or, marmots running across the street, or previous guys' cars. Sometimes they leak fluids or they break apart, and now that's in the road, and you got to deal with that. And if you haven't seen that before, it's brand new, and you got about 5 seconds to, or maybe less than 5 seconds to figure out what you're going to do and how you're going to overcome that obstacle. So I think that's kind of one thing that's kind of been new to me, because when I'm out on a racetrack, it's very consistent. It's always the same.
Right.
But this road does change, but it's not like geographically changing. It's changing in the elements.
Yeah, I've heard that too from folks, and especially folks who come back second, third, fourth time. They go, "Hey, there's a bump here that wasn't there last year."
Right.
Because what happens, I think a lot of people don't realize, is the hill climb was on dirt previously.
Right.
And not really all that long ago, they changed it to pavement.
Right.
For better or for worse, because when it was dirt, they could grade the road before the race and smooth it out. Mm-hmm. Now you can get these higher times and higher grip, but you have to contend with the fact that the freeze-thaw cycle changes that pavement.
Right.
Every winter.
Annually.
Every winter.
Yeah, it changes it annually. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The conditions up there are insane. Good point of that was on Thursday. We had a bunch of rain and fog and nastiness up there. You didn't run on Thursday, did you?
On Thursday, no, we did not. We were going to run the top, and the top got canceled.
Yeah, top got canceled. That's where I was going to be heading up as well.
Right. So we ran the top today, actually.
Okay.
Yep.
So today, for those of you joining at home, today was sort of like a bonus day that they do.
Makeup day.
Right. If like something gets canceled because of weather, and that's exactly what happened.
Right.
So I didn't make it up there to the top section today. I slept in until 5 a.m. today. So
nice. I'm jealous.
I know. You were saying, you got an hour of sleep?
Yeah, I got an hour nap in.
That's an hour. That's 59 minutes more than you need.
That's right.
But how was the top section up there then? I didn't get a chance to see it.
The top section was really wet. It was actually our first time putting on the wets, wet tires. And those are a groove tire opposed to our slick tire that we use for dry conditions. And that tire was actually really good in the rain, but it behaves nothing like a slick. You get onto the brakes too hard, and it's going to lock up immediately.
Yeah.
And getting on the gas, you got to be real easy. Just got to treat those tires as if they're on ice. Because it kind of feels that way up there at the top because the pavement's so cold. And you add water into the mix, and then you add a little bit of sand in there. It's just a mixture that's equals no grip. Right?
Wow.
So, and you got to go 100 miles an hour.
Now, here's a question for you. On race day, we don't know what the weather's going to be. There's forecasts.
Right.
We don't really listen to those because they're not right.
Yeah.
What the forecast says here is not what's going on up there.
Right. Pikes Peak is moody.
It can be 95 degrees and sunny down here, and up there at the top, it might be freezing fog and like 33 degrees, somewhere around there,
right.
32. So here's a question then, and I've kind of wondered this, as I've been watching the guys driving up there, watching you, watching Jimmy, like on race day. You don't get to decide, okay, I'm going to use slicks on the lower section and rain tires on the top. You got to do the whole thing in one go.
Right.
How would you approach that? What's your strategy if we've got bad weather? Are you going to go for those rain tires and take a little bit of a time penalty on those in the dry sections down low? Or what? I'm just curious of the thought process behind that.
Well, you'd have to see, is it sprinkling or is it downpour? Has it been raining for hours? You got to take all that into account, because you don't need rain tires unless you have, more than a few centimeters of water, standing water, because you don't hydroplane on a millimeter of water or a centimeter of water. So you kind of got to judge the weather and how much water is going to come. But for me, I would definitely try to stay on slicks as long as I could. I would hold out on slicks as long as I could. Even to the point where it was just raining at the top, I'd probably run the whole thing on slicks and then just kind of chill out on the top.
Okay.
Because then, if I'm going to be on wets, that's going to take your time down, minutes almost.
Yeah. Wow. Now, of course, my guest is Ethan Hunter. He is racing the Pikes Peak International Hill Climb this Sunday, and we are broadcasting live from the Pikes Peak Hill Climb Fan Fest, brought to you by Gran Turismo. We are underneath the fantastic Hemmings.com footprint. Thank you for joining us on this very special edition of the show. We're going to keep going, but it's going to be a bonus on the podcast and the live stream. So thanks for tuning into the radio show. Join us on the bonus edition of the show after this. That's on YouTube, Spotify, wherever fine shows and mine are downloaded. I'll talk to you next week on the radio show right here. Don't go anywhere.